Can you remember a time in your life when all you really needed was someone to take care of you? That you would have been able to deal with your emotions or the crisis or the growth period that you were going through? If there would have been someone that could have attended to the smaller details in the finer aspects of life so that you could just focus on yourself and your emotions and your needs, just someone to care for you without investigating what's going on. So, hi guys, Cinnamon here at Stratosphere Massage, and I'm just exploring the other layer of massage therapy, which, if you think about it, what is massage therapy galactically, like stepping back and looking back from the stars, right? So, down here on Earth, yes, we're about aligning the muscle, making it functional again. You know, I have this thing in my neck, can we fix that? But when I draw back, anything that is done to enhance mobility, help organic and natural nervous system regeneration, or different congruencies, anything that's going on is a deep caring and honoring of the person, their path, their trajectory, their life. And I said, why is caring so important to me? Why is there so much care, time, investment? Why do I spend time piling through and looking up? I'll go through a case or have a client, and if I couldn't figure it out, I'm trying to look and see what I could have done differently, what was happening in that nervous system, or if it was successful, I'll write it down also and say, this works for this person. I can try this on the next person. Each of you has been like a super mega resource for me to be able to move on and offer care and healing to the next person. Because without this practice, without you coming and accepting my offerings and my efforts to help improve whatever you're working on, I couldn't go forward and improve it with others, and that rebounds and comes back for yourself, right? So the part of caring for me is like the underneath layer of all the strategies, techniques, methods, knowledge, all the science and facts and figures and everything is up here. But learning and doing all this is just because I genuinely care. And I thought, why do I care so much? I'm not focused on the result, but it translates that way because I'm so deeply looking for the result because I care. And I care for the result because this gives the body and the mind healing. And that's where, like, when I look back galactically, I'm like, all I want to do is care for these people. If there was something different that I could do, like maybe it's the ideal meal for you, or maybe it's the experience, or I don't know, some kind of other knowledge or education. If there was something else and I knew that that's what would be the thing that could heal it in your body and in your mind for you, then I would offer that also, right? I was like, here, what I really want is just to care and listen. And when I listen, sometimes we talk in sessions, sometimes we don't, it's all good. But I'm anyway having a conversation with your body, right? Your body is telling me, this happened to me. I am the memory. I'm in here. I'm structured like this. And how can you assist me? Assist me, please. You are someone who has found me, like I found it registered. It's like a code in the body. And I'm like, how can I optimize or liberate this code that is asking for help, that is asking for assistance? And so that's my number one my number one point. I normally don't have points, I just have like concepts, but why we need to be cared for? Because when we feel cared for, like someone is looking out to see what they can do to care for us so we can improve, then we can heal. It's so much faster. It's so much faster. The huge component I would say about massage therapy is that you are taking the personal step of caring for yourself. Most of you have come out of your own free will. There's a few arrived by, gift certificate or recommendation, or their therapist, their PT said, you should get, massage or something done. So you find me a lateral way, but many of you have come out of your own will for taking care of yourself. And I think this registers and transforms you inside much. It collapses time for you because you were there with your mind ready for that. You're like, I'm taking care of myself in this. It's a really unique way to care for yourself by getting a massage. And in my case, in most cases of the sessions we have, it's kind of like a micro experience. Sometimes we remember things. Sometimes there's a shift. Sometimes it's emotional, right? But the value, the value of this experience of being cared for, that I'm going to have the honor to attend to you for your 60 minutes, your 90 minutes, your 200 minutes, I almost said, your 2-hour session, your 120 minutes. I so look forward to every minute, to be like, okay, how can we care for this person in this way? So that's one layer that I love about massage. And the next thing is that no one knows what we need better than ourselves. I love this aspect. Some of you are free to guide me during the session and be like, oh yeah, there, or it's a little further to the right, or that feels perfect, and we'll hold it. Or sometimes it's like, what's happening, right? There's some releases and it's so cool to feel it in the body. But that's in massage. So if we go back galactically and step out, you can see for yourself exactly what you need for your healing. And even though others would want to care for you in their own way, it will never be as precise as what you pick out for yourself and what you tailor for yourself. I think for many years, I was waiting for someone to care for me. And I'm like, don't they see me? Can't they see that this is what I need? And then I'd feel resentful because they couldn't figure it out, or they would just abandon midway. I think it's something that, like most things, right? I got embedded during childhood where I kept expecting my parents to emotionally provide for me what I needed. And it was only in therapy that I realized that I continually accepted to be emotionally deprived of what my needs were. I was a very emotional, artistic, sensitive child, and I had to go without any of that nurturing. And I found it in ways of creativity to express myself, to get out there. And maybe I looked in one too many wrong places for the affection I was lacking. But now when I'm older, I see how when I realize, oh, this is a path where I'm taking care of myself. One of my huge revolutionary ones was receiving my first, I would call, professional massage. I had a few little, I call them tinkering massages. They don't even compare. But when I had my first real professional massage from a woman that I consider my actual teacher, because I learned by receiving. I took the step. I didn't have the finances. I didn't know massage was so expensive. I wondered how in the world was I ever going to pull this career off if this is what people are charging for massage. So I lived mentally in like a different demographic of value for what it was. And I was so reluctant, but I saved up a few weeks to pay for this session, because I said, if I want this to be my career, I got to see what I'm getting into, right? What are these people offering? So I went and I had my session, and on my walk back home, my body felt so different. Like when you're on the table, it's kind of like, okay, but I just felt there was such a shift within me, a positive one, obviously, that it's how I knew all along. But I think the click was, I gave this to myself. No one was going to take me to this massage session. No one was going to pay that for me. No one was going to provide that for me. How my instinct, how my inner self knew that this was providing the deep care that I needed for myself. And I really felt cared for by this person, which is what changed my whole angle of all my studies, because I wanted to love and care and provide and honor the holy beings of the people that were going to risk the vulnerability of coming to get on my table, right? This is a sacred moment that we share together, where for no other reason except the exchange perhaps of the monetary energy and your desire to heal yourself and have someone care for you, we can do this. Like, this is possible thanks to the open hearts that you have and the fact that I have decided to engage on my path, like a fuller, richer path of giving and healing. So all of this is me knowing what I needed. I went for it, and then I was able to shift that, and now I try to give what you're coming for in that moment, what you are needing. And hopefully, for me as well, it transitions in these other, like, what happens? Here's number 3. What happened to me when I started caring for myself? Which I'm hoping, like, after a session of massage, for many of us, the perspective that we're having on life, the vibration or the frequency we're on, automatically changes how we're feeling about anything. It's like, before my massage session, that first session especially, I was thinking about life in this way. Then I had my session and I was like, but now there's this. That's like a whole different path, world, a whole different way of being is all of a sudden available. And it's a little bit of madness, right? But it transferred into my other areas of life. So physically, it started with my physical repair. But then I felt strong enough to even get stronger. So then I did the massage, and there's always the yoga, the meditation. I know how to do these calming movements, like it's like I know what is smooth, and just rolling and nice. But then I felt strong enough to really take my level of training on the pole, my athletic pole training, to the next level of strength. And feeling this level of strength was also a form of caring for myself. I said, I don't know if there's a time in our lives or in this coming existence that I will ever need to be that strong. But this is how I see it, guys. I see it like If you're going to carry and harness the full potential of who you are, you're going to have that energy. I mean, we know how strong we are inside ourselves. You can see it in moments of rage or gestures of love, or when you're angry, you're like, wow, there's a powerhouse inside of you. If I'm going to be the vessel for that, imagine how strong I need to be to contain that and take that forward. So there's a physical strength related to the amount that I can carry my potential forward. That works together. And if I'm healing and caring for myself and improving myself, I need the strength to hold that, and also so I can share that. So getting strong is a huge part of healing, and I can heal thanks to initially caring. The next one was financially. So once I started caring about myself physically, then I started thinking about, how has my financial realm been cared for? I'm the head of my household, so it says in the taxes. But it puts a lot of responsibility, a weight on me as a single mom. And I really, I can't believe that till about, let's say 2 years ago I started this like financial journey. Till about then, I left the energy of finances and income and all of that up to the universe. I mean, it's amazing I made it this far, and the universe is like, well, I guess Cinnamon is good. Like, I'll just send her the money. Like, no planning, no strategy, zilch, nothing. I was living the day like, tomorrow I'm dying, right? Totally high risk level living. And I said, wait a minute. I got a plan now. I have a kid and she wants to go to school, and what do I want also? And also seeing my mom heading into retirement, and but she lived abroad, so how does that affect Social Security? What have I done for my Social Security? So now I've started to care for myself financially, because it's a disservice to everyone if I don't care for myself financially first. How can then I provide the service to care for others? If I'm scrounging for pennies, trying to make things happen on the back end, then how can I arrive fully centered and focused to give the care and attention that others need? Because the finances are such a distraction. I mean, whenever I was in a down zone, it was like everything else collapsed. Got to focus on, just getting through this hard point of figuring out where to get the money, right? So yeah, I'm moving into the financial aspect of caring for myself. And here I have a point number 3. Let me think about this one here, what I wrote down. All right, I think I got it. So because I started caring for myself, my true potential started coming to the surface. And this started to create the design of my mission. So to date, it was like, help some, service others. It was very low-key, very casual. There was no built-up momentum. There was no like feeling like I'm on the cause, I'm like, let's go. I wasn't in a movement mode, right? But I think because of the caring and the healing and the strength and the whole thing, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a rising, right? There's a lifting up from all of this coming together. And the mission being with, I want to share like immersion for people in being cared for, because that's what I needed in my moment of truth, in my moment of pain, but also that was my moment of truth where I said, how can it be that I couldn't set myself up to be nurtured, cared for, sought out, like, so necessary. It's so necessary. I think it would have saved me maybe a decade of scrounging through therapy, books, and bad relationships, right? If I would have known, had, and felt that I was deeply cared for by someone else, that this person has got my back, and I would have seen it applied to me consistently day after day. Now, in the instance of my mission, I would love to provide it day after day after day, as many times as many days as is needed as possible for the person to get back on their feet, or to feel they've absorbed enough that they're like, I'm cared for and I'm going forward. But what I am providing is a 5-day retreat where you can actually feel that and absorb that. And especially for people who are recovering from heartbreak or loss or feeling sensations of I don't know, if it's kind of like profound depth of sadness. But I don't want to call it depression, because that's like, it could be that, but that's like, I feel like technical medical term nowadays. But sometimes it's just more like grief, right? So it's a state of grief because something has happened and now you just need to be cared for. I had this post-it that was here on my desk, on my old desk, when I took it down, but it said, pure continual love overcomes all things. And this came to me one day. It was like an alignment message that came through, that if daily and continually I would receive pure continual love, that I was loved unconditionally, cared for, thought of, this minute, the next minute, the minute after that, I'm loved and cared. Pure continual, pure and continual. Feeling pure and continual, like it was raining upon you. No, it's just like coming at you. If I could have this continually, how could I not overcome everything? Any diagnostic, any future thing to be foreseen, any obstacle that I might feel in the future, how would I not be capable to handle it and move forward if I felt pure continual love and I experienced it, right? This kind of care. And I think out of this alignment that came in and the vision of the mission of providing it is that these simplicity masterclasses, retreats gave birth. And as most of you know, I'm going home, so back and forth from Bolivia to Bloomington, and I'm like, this is crazy. I do this trip once or twice a year. This is totally doable. I see it like I'm like some special person that I'm like, oh, I can juggle the trips and the kid and the puppy. And I'm like, everyone has complex lives, and they can still, like, you can manage it. You can do it just like anyone else. It depends like what you're seeking, what you're looking for. And I think it's always that I didn't have imposter syndrome. In this case, I had like the reverse thing of imposter syndrome, maybe of like, well, who else would want to do this? I'm focused on the tediousness of doing the travel and what that all entails. But I said, why do you go back every time, Cinnamon? And I'm like, because my home heals me. That's where I healed the first time. These were the moments where I was alone in a sacred space that contained me and cared for me. Because there I figured out everything I needed to feel cared for. And even in the last relationship I had, where in some place in my mind I was like, I was abandoned, I thought, how can I still stay in this land when this is all over? Like it's tainted. The memory is here. I'm going to have to sell everything and leave, right? But after the situation passed, I think it was like the 3rd month, and I was just so amazed at the power and the energy and the influence of the Valley of the Souls, where I live, Valle de las Animas. And it's like the earth grounded it up, and then the pinnacles and the peaks just lifted and elevated me out of it. It's like the whole veil was removed. And this is the beauty and the experience and the energy that the high altitude retreat, the simplicity retreat, has kind of been crafted under. So more than anything, more than the great food, the great stay, the great views, all of that is great and luxurious, attractive for the mind. But what I really want to do is just care for you. I want to have the 5 days to be of service and give care to a being that is feeling and needing. I don't want to think, I don't want to hassle. I just want it all done for me so I can just be with me, so I can hear myself, so I can, it reminds me of that movie like Water for Chocolate. And once she was free of her kind of twisted home situation, and she was taken, I think, across the border to somewhere like New Mexico or Texas or something. And for the first time, she saw herself free of the orders of her mother that kind of oppressed her and ordered her around the home. So she was completely deprived of her potential and everything else, and heartbreak that she had also suffered. And there's that scene where she's like, just like watching her hands move in space. You know, the freedom that they had to just be and not have to follow the orders of anything or anyone. And she was completely cared for. They fed her, they kept her warm, they'd sit her up in the morning, they'd put a pillow in the evening. And this was beautiful for me. So yes, this is what the Simplicity Masterclasses was created for. To simplify things in a space, in an area where you can heal and you can just let someone care for all the details. And I'm so looking forward to launching it. Feel free to, I'm totally inspired at this point to ask you to share it with someone that you feel this could be transformational for them, or you know, like this is exactly what they would need at this time in their life. This is very, I don't want to say niche oriented, that seems like the marketing terms, but it's very specific and tailored to a being that will need it in that moment, right? So I had this need several times during my life, but I wasn't needing that all the time. But at the moments that I needed it, my gosh, it would have been a godsend for me. If they would have been like, Cinnamon, we know this place, we're going to send you, and either we're going to pay for it or you can pay for it if you have the finances, and you're just going to be fed, cared for, physically contained, held, you know, massage, sauna, hammock. Oh my gosh. I would have been like, what? This is available for me? Now, it might be in the minds of some that they're like, I'm not deserving of this, right? We tend to think that we're here and we have to suffer it and it's the punishment. But this is the advice I would give that younger self of myself. Now I'd be like, you are going to collapse time. Do this now. 10 years ago, if I would have done that, I could have saved 5 or 6 years, as I say, of trying to figure things out. Because being cared for is so healing. And I think we underestimate it, and we try to make up for it with, I'm independent. I am going to pull through on myself. Like, I'm going to show the world that I'm strong enough to get through this. And it takes a lot more energy to conjure up all of that to make up for the fact that maybe someone just could have held me and given me a warm meal and talked to me and laughed with me by the fireplace. My heart goes out to my younger self. But there you have it. I've gone on quite a bit. Thank you for making it, listening till the end of the video. And the retreat is up and available on the website. You're so invited. There's also going to be a presentation of the retreat on June 11th at 5:30 right here at the massage studio. And I'm going to answer any questions or anything you want to know about it, if you want to come see and learn a little bit more about it. But I do have basically all of the information up on the website that I could think of. And I have the printouts and stuff for those of you who want to dive deeper and figure out what are the details about this? How can we make this happen? But I would love to share the experience with you, love for you to share it with someone you think that needs it, and it has been an utmost joy and privilege for me to care for you during the sessions that we've had. All right, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next massage session, hopefully. Bye-bye.